is Ed Soares, and my company name is Tough Media, but we kind of go by, a lot of people know us as the Black House family. Some of the clients that we represent is Anderson Silva, Rodrigo and Rogerio Nogueira, Lyoto Machida, Jose Aldo, Diego Nunes, Rafael Feijão, Pedro Rizzo, Dallas Leichis. We have about, in total, about 20 guys, and we have a lot of up-and-coming guys too that still aren't known yet. Guys like Jordan Smith, Justin Lawrence, just a lot of different guys. Well, I've always been a big fan of MMA, but my first really working in the MMA business, I had a clothing company, and I used to always be a fan of MMA, so I was always work with the fighters. Before the sport was what it was, I would always try to support and sponsor the guys in any way possible. And when I flew over to Japan with Chuck Liddell when he fought in the GP against Quentin Jackson, I ran into my current business partner, George, who used to produce a television show called Passando a Guarda in Brazil, which is called Passing the Guard. While I was in Japan, he asked me to be the cameraman for him. I ended up being the cameraman, and we hung out that whole week, and I was filming the show. One thing led to the next. That was November of '03. In April of 2004, I brought Passing the Guard here to the United States, got it on a regional channel, and that's pretty much how I started in the MMA business. Well, I think for me the best part of being involved in the MMA industry is probably that I truly do something that I love for a living. It's really nice to a lot of times I'll be at something that has nothing to do with MMA. I'll be at one of my kids' birthday parties, and some of the parents know what I do, and a lot of times the parents will come up and start asking about it and talking about it. They're like, "I'm sorry, man. I know I don't want to talk to you about work right now, but to me, it's like I love what I do, so it's like I don't have a problem talking about it. That's what I'd be talking about on my free time anyway. So it just happens to be that I'm really fortunate to be able to earn a living involved in a sport that I love and believe in so much. The worst part about being in the MMA business, there's a lot of things that if I had the choice to change, definitely one of it being traveling, being away from the family and being away from home a lot is definitely a bummer. And sometimes with the sport growing as quick as it's growing, sometimes a lot of people, a lot of sharks are trying to jump into the business and trying to come in with all these preconceived ideas of what they're going to be able to do in the business. But there's really not too many bad parts about working in the business. It's like any other business. It's got its good parts and it's got its bad parts. But fortunately, there's so many good parts that it definitely overweighs the bad parts. If I could represent any athlete in any other sport, yeah, that's a good question. I've never really thought about representing any other athletes, but I don't know. Maybe I would want to represent. I have no idea. That's a good that's a good question, man. Represent another athlete in another sport. I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to think of a basketball player. Maybe I don't know. I'm a big Laker fan, so maybe it would have to be maybe like a Kobe Bryant or something. But I think that's so standard. I'm sure a lot of people would say something like that. That's a tough question. I wouldn't even know how to. I don't have a solid answer for that. Well, I think the people that people always say a lot of things about me. I've read, they've called me a douchebag. They've called me that I don't translate properly. That I protect my fighters. That all these different, or not protect my fighters, but that I duck fights and all that. And I think the biggest misconception is that if you know me, there's no way you're going to say that I'm a douchebag. There's no way the things that people say about me are true. I wouldn't be who I am today if 80% of this, if any of that stuff was true. It's just not true. But people have this preconceived idea of what you're like. They think they know you because you're on TV, and it's just really unfortunate. And as far as like, oh, I pick the fights and I only pick easy fights, let me tell you something. I wish I had the power to pick fights. I don't have that sort of power to pick fights. We could, people a lot of times, they ask you a question, you tell them your opinion, and then all of a sudden they try to turn that around like I'm dictating that's the fight I want. Or if they ask me who I'd like my guy to fight and I tell them, that doesn't mean that's who I'm demanding to fight. It just means you ask me a question and I'm giving you a solid answer to what I think. But the misconception is just, people are always saying, about me ethically, and anybody who knows me knows that I'm a very ethical person. I think the clients that I talk to the most, my two clients I talk to the most, right now, I would say it really depends around their fight times and stuff like that, but I think the ones that I tend to talk to the most is probably Jose Aldo, Anderson, Lyoto, and Rafael Feijão are the ones that I talk to the most. Jose Aldo's, the night after the fight, the night of the fight after he wins, when do you think I'm going to fight again? My relationship with most promoters are pretty good. I think my relationship with the UFC is very good. Joe Silva and I have a good relationship. We disagree once in a while. Dana White and Lorenzo, I have a really great relationship with them, and we don't always agree, but I always let them know how I feel, and they never have a problem letting me know how they feel. But I feel overall my relationship with promoters are good. With some of the other promoters, they're good too. I don't have any issues, I don't think, with any promoters. To me, I just feel that I'm very fortunate to be able to do something that I love and involved in a sport that I believe in. I've been involved in the sport for a long time, and it's just really nice to see what the direction that the sport is going. I believe MMA fans and the MMA industry is growing, so rapidly, and I do believe that we have some of the best fans in the world. The sport wouldn't be where it's gotten today without the fans and the support, the diehard fans that have been involved with the sport for so long, and even all the new fans that are getting involved. I think to me, it's definitely the most exciting sporting event that you can go to live. I've been to a lot of sporting events. I love going to Laker games. Yeah, it's cool going to a Dodger game, cool going to a baseball game, cool going to an NFL game. The other day I was at NASCAR with Anderson. Really cool. But I can tell you right now, nothing compares to a live MMA event. You go to a UFC, and the main event comes on, the lights turn off, the music starts hearing. To me, it's the closest thing to like a modern day gladiator feeling. If I was alive during those times and got to see gladiators fighting, the energy in the Coliseum or in the arena, to me, this is the best sporting event in the world that you can go to. So, by far, I have no doubt in my mind when Dana says that this will be the biggest sport within 10 to 15 years. Let me tell you something. I believe it. I believe it 100%. This is the greatest sport in the world, and I'm just happy to be involved with it and to be able to make a living doing something that I love. I'm Ed Soares, and I'm the guy behind the guy.